Hello everyone, it's Steve with Aptera Owners Club. Today, Aptera released their December update about their Delta design update. And in this video, they had the animation of the Delta model being kind of assembled together. That was shown at the Ambassadors webinar a few days ago, and they asked us to keep it confidential until they release it to the public. And they have released it to the public now, so now we can talk about it. So let's go over this video together. And then you guys can tell me in the comments things that you noticed about it so that we can all kind of learn from each other.
Hey everyone, it's Sarah, Aptera's Chief Marketing Officer, and welcome to your December update. We've been hard at work in our Delta phase of development. As we near the end of the year, we're looking forward to showing you a digital visualization of Delta, our production intent.
Okay, so this is where the animation starts. All right, so you can see that it is a body on frame assembly. There's a frame. I believe this is all metal. That was kind of the impression I got from Jason Hill when I was talking to him, although he didn't come out directly and say it. This is probably all cast aluminum. And then the spiders for attaching the hub motors, here they are here. So I think these arms are just for holding, these brackets are just for holding the wheel covers, because they're not necessary for holding the hub motors, because you don't see it in the rear part. And then Sarah said that they're going to show us a digital design by the end of the year. So here's my impression, and tell me if you guys agree with it or not. I think that they're not done with Delta. I think they're done with the exterior of Delta, but they're not done with uh, the all the mechanical parts and the inside of the Delta, and they're not quite ready, and I don't think they're going to be ready for a little while longer. But the exterior is finalized, and they're going to show us that by the end of the year, hopefully.
Design.
So let's shift back here a little bit. So if you saw my videos of my interview with Jason, you see a bottom up view of this frame, and this is actually a big oval here. It's like it's hollow in the middle, and the battery pack obviously sits in here and is bolted into this thing. So the battery, like when we first heard that it was a structural battery pack, there was the impression that a battery pack would be here and the rear suspension would bolt onto the battery pack, and then the front suspension would bolt onto the battery pack here. That turns out that that is not the case. There's an actual metal structure that holds everything together, and the battery pack is likely bolted into this structure, and is probably adds a structural component of rigidity to it, but it's not like a battery pack alone spans between the two sides. There is this metal frame.
Design. We hope you've been.
Okay, so let's kind of step through this slowly. You see the hub motor being attached to the spider in the front. And then here's the comment I made in a previous video about how the upper control arm is a little different. If you see this upper control arm, it's not smooth and aerodynamic. It has this ridge along here, whereas the bottom here is fairly aerodynamic and thin. The upper part has this ridge. I suspect it is to increase the rigidity of the part in the vertical plane. And it looks like it may be a stamped piece rather than a forged piece, but then I guess these parts do kind of look forged. But anyway, for whatever reason, it is this design, which is different than the design they had before on the beta models, where it was a more aerodynamic control arm. So I don't know if they decided that this was good enough, because only a small portion of this is exposed to the wind, or if they're going to put some kind of cover on this thing to make it more aerodynamic. But as you can tell, there is this ridge, and there is going to be some turbulence of the air around this thing. The high voltage cables to the hub motor are probably routed along the lower control arm, as in the gamma. Yeah, so go ahead and look at the gamma ones, and you'll see that the gamma upper control arm is different. And then, and you can see here, this is the fiberglass SMC. It has this look to it. And you can see here there is the shocks for the front suspension. There, in the previous view, it looked like maybe the shocks were going to be mounted transversely, but no, it looks like they're mounted mostly vertically here. And then this is the look of the carbon fiber SMC. So you can kind of tell from this render which parts are the fiberglass SMC here and which parts are the carbon fiber SMC, which is here. Okay, so now the wheel pants are coming in, and what's odd is they said that in the webinar that there would be no frunk, but it looks like there'd be a lot of space for the frunk. And I suspect this little port here is where the air channel is for the air intake for cooling the cabin and for cooling the battery pack is this port right here. And here's the wheel pants coming in. And the wheel pants look like they're made of the fiberglass SMC, which would make sense. And these are supposed to be EVA foam, and I don't know if that's still the case. But I don't know why it would not be the case. That was their design before. Okay, so there's the windshield coming in. Oh, and this is the front of the nose cone, and you see that there's no logo on this anymore. And here's the cowl, and here's the place for the ventilation to come in. And you'll notice that basically it comes in over here, and I think the air gets sucked down through this and goes into here. And I believe this is the attachment for the single windshield wiper that'll be going across. And when the hood goes onto this thing, it forms a little lip here that the windshield wiper fits behind, and it creates a low pressure vortex that the air will get kind of pushed into this. So the air will kind of passively be pushed into this or sucked into it by having a low pressure vortex there. I guess that would be the more correct term. Instead of being pushed in, it's going to be like vacuumed in. And then here's more side panels coming in. These are likely all fiberglass SMC. You know, I'm not sure what these things are right here. I'm not entirely sure what these are. Tell me what you guys think these are in the comments below. It looks like they're going into the side someplace. And again, looks like there's plenty of room for a frunk. And here's the shocks right here. So I'm not real sure why there's no frunk here. Like what they're planning on putting into that. So those side panels that we saw coming in, I don't think are these because these were in there before. Okay, here's this piece. And I see this cutout right here. I believe this is the part that's metal. And this would be the cooling plate right here because this would go right underneath the battery pan. So I suspect this is another like plastic or fiberglass SMC piece. See, it has a different, this is the fiberglass SMC. This looks a little different, and this looks like this. I mean, it kind of looks metallic, but I think it's just painted that way. I don't think this is a metal piece. I think the metal piece for the cooling panel fits into this square area right here, right here. Oh, and if you noticed before in this area, there's a little cavity here. I don't know what they plan on putting in here or if this is an extra storage area. But yeah, let's go back and take a look at this. Like if you look at this part right here.
You've seen across our social media channels.
Right here. So see, there's a big, this I think corresponds to that, that part that goes down. And it looks like this might be where the latching mechanism for the hood is. That's a little disappointing to me because I would have thought the latching mechanism would be farther back, and be out of the storage compartment, but it looks like maybe it's still in there. I'm not sure. Tell me what you guys think this thing is right here.
Channels over the past couple of weeks. We know you'll have many
Yeah, like I don't know what piece this is. What is that piece?
questions about our Delta design.
Maybe it was this thing. I don't know. Okay, anyway, this is where the metal piece for the cooling pan goes in. I'm pretty sure because that's where the battery would fit in. Here's that outpouching of that storage area. I don't know what else would fit in there. I don't know, like I don't think any like electrical component or anything would fit in there. It'd be kind of an odd place to put something.
And what it means for you and your very own Aptera.
So this is the rear wheel covers, and this is fiberglass SMC. These things are the EVA foam bumpers in the front and the back.
So we'll be
And then here's the hatch coming in and the front hood coming in.
hosting a virtual
Right here. Okay, so here's the doors coming in, the front hood. See? Totally, there's space for a frunk. I don't know why they're not doing it.
webinar.
Maybe this is where the air handling equipment goes in. I'm not sure. And that scallop piece that we saw in a previous teaser is clearly the rear hatch.
With our founders in January.
Okay, so they're having a webinar in January where they're going to talk more about the details. Now, I'm hoping that they have, like, once, if the Delta is completely finalized, we should get answers to a lot of the questions that we have. Like, is there a vehicle to load? What is the height of the wheel pants? Is there going to be heated seats? Again, it looks like the UI is far away. In the ambassador webinar, they said they're not really focusing on the UI because that's something that you can do until the very end. But the mechanical components that they're going to need to get that finalized first. Now you see here, here's the hatch. Here's the hood, and there's a little lip here. And when the solar hood is on here, the wind will go like this and form a little vortex in a low pressure area, and that'll suck air down into this venting area. And I think through this port, which would go into the cabin air handler and push air down into the bottom to cool the cooling plate when there's not air movement, like when the car is stationary and charging.
To go over the design and give you the opportunity to get your questions answered. Once our design is complete and we reach our funding objectives.
Okay, so I think that's very clear. They're saying once it's complete and once they reach their funding objectives. And last we heard, their funding objective is they need $50 million in addition to what they have now.
We'll begin systems integration and Delta builds. We'll have various build types for crash testing and validation. The engineering team is excited to perform and publish real-world data on our vehicle efficiency, our range, solar output, and more using these Delta builds.
Okay, so it's clear they're not going to do the efficiency testing and the solar validation and crash testing with the Gamma model. They're going to do it with the Delta, which makes the most sense, honestly, because you want the information off of the production intent vehicle because it's going to change a little bit between Gamma and Delta. It is a little disappointing for me because most of the aerodynamics remains fairly similar. And so you should be able to get efficiency numbers that are not exact and range numbers that are not exact, but are pretty close to the Delta. So I'm not sure why they're not releasing that information about Gamma. I would think that they'd be doing that testing, and it would be nice to know if they're even in the ballpark, because it should be in the ballpark. Now, the question is does the $50 million that they need to happen before they do these validation tests, or can they do the validation tests with less money using hand-built Deltas? I'm hoping the latter. I'm hoping they do hand-built Deltas and do the validation testing on that while they're waiting for the $50 million.
Once the crash testing and validation phase is complete, we'll be able to show you our launch edition vehicles. 2023 will be a year of continued progress, and we can't wait to take you with us through it all. As part of our Delta phase of development, our team has been in close collaboration with CPC Group to finalize the body structures of Aptera. Let's see what they've been up to.
Hey everybody, Jason Hiller, Aptera's Chief of Design, and I'm here in Modena, Italy. I'd like to introduce you to
Thomas Vecchi, benvenuti a tutti, siete nello stabilimento di Aptera CPC dove sta nascendo quello che è il progetto più futuristico dell'azienda.
Okay, so whoever speaks Italian, please put in the comments below what he just said. Please translate for us.
So welcome. You're in the facility of CPC Aptera, where we will be assembling, for us, what is the most innovative project of the last 10 years. So we've been working now for more than a year and a half with the team of Aptera, styling, technical office, and we are literally at CAD release of the Delta design. And we're very excited. We're very excited because in Modena, in the Motor Valley, we will be making what is known as the most innovative project in terms of solar panels, in terms of design of the vehicle, in terms of performance of the vehicle. So you can see the vehicle in the back here, and this will be the facility where the vehicle will be assembled.
Okay, so a lot of things he said that's very interesting. So number one, he says that it's the most exciting project they've done in the past 10 years, which I mean probably is a little bit of superlatives, but obviously they're excited. This is a company that's been working with supercars and making carbon fiber bodies for supercars, and this is, you know, the most innovative thing they've done, the most exciting thing they've done in the past 10 years. That may be a little bit of exaggeration, but still it shows that they're excited about it, which is good. And they seem to think that there's a lot of excitement in the Motor Valley about Aptera, which is good because I think there's some deep pockets in there, and perhaps they're going to find investors from that area. You know, there's several F1 teams, supercar builders there. Maybe they're interested in investing in this vehicle. You know, $50 million is nothing for a F1 racing team. So that's the kind of money that's kind of floating around in the Motor Valley there in Modena. So that's exciting. And then he said that this is where it will be assembled. Now, I don't think they mean that this is where production is going to happen. Production is going to happen in San Diego, as far as we know, unless something has changed dramatically in the past several weeks. He also said they've been working with Aptera for a year and a half. So this has been going on for quite a long time. So they've known for quite a long time that they're not going to be using that honeycomb design sandwich composite structure. They're going to be using this forged carbon fiber and fiberglass SMC design for a while. Maybe initially they were doing the talks and they weren't sure that they were going to go for it, but now they know that they've known at least for probably a year that they're going to do this, and they've only recently told us about it. So I think they mean that they're going to maybe assemble the vehicles for some of the testing work here. I'm not really sure what they mean that it's going to be assembled here, because you would think that they would want to do the testing models in San Diego so that the Aptera can do the testing and validation there. But maybe they're going to do some testing over in Italy and some testing in San Diego. I'm not sure.
In other news, there's a new way to invest in Aptera on Republic, a platform that gives investors access to high growth.
Okay, so the rest of this is talking about Republic, which I want to talk about that and the fundraising in another video. But anyways, in this video, a lot of interesting stuff. I'm hoping that they have all of Delta finalized, and in January we can get a lot of our questions answered about the specifics of what's going to be in the design and what's not going to be, what made it to production and what didn't make it to production. I suspect that it's not going to be finalized. We're just going to have an external shell, and it will still be not 100% finalized. But I hope I'm wrong. And then we don't know if the $50 million that they need is needed before they start this validation and building the multiple Delta models for crash testing and efficiency validation testing. If that's the case, it's going to be a long road, which is the video that I want to talk about with Republic and investing. But anyways, tell me what you guys saw in the animation, if there's anything else that we missed, and what you think CPC is doing by assembling the vehicles over there, and whether you or not you guys think that investors are coming from Italy or not. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I think it is an exciting time. We're finally going to see the production intent vehicle very soon. Every render I've seen from it, from Jason and from everyone else, the car itself looks amazing. Um, I really like the two-tone look of the finalized piece that we got a glimpse of in the Q&A and the webinar with Jason Hill. And I think it makes it look a lot sleeker because, you know, they did expand the interior volume of the Delta, so it looks a little bit chubby in a way, and they're making the two-tone design like slim down the look of it a lot, which I think looks great. All right, well, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks as always to our supporting members, and have a great day, everyone.